So I have this ideology about sex, and I don't even think I would call it an ideology. I think that it is a fact, okay? But because of the perversion of this world, I will have people that will contest this. My phone is ringing.
Okay.
All right, baby.
Bye.
Bye. We had a conversation in church today about sex. Yeah. And it just reminded me of a topic or an aspect of this subject that personally I haven't really heard people talk about so much. I want to pump my tires. I haven't really heard people talk about it so much. And what I want to say is sex is a skill. Ladies and gentlemen, sex is a skill. Sex is a skill. This is my ideology. This is my belief. And heck, this is the fact. Alright? I hear people say things like, and this is common for the singles that, if we are going to be honest, are already sexually active. Single people that are already sexually active usually have this discourse, usually have this bone of contention, where they would say, one, I have to find out if he's good in bed before I can marry him. Or, you know, they give instances of, oh, what if I marry him and he's not good in bed? So what now happens? It's one of two things. It's either you personally are experienced and you want somebody to match up to your experience, and I'm going to come to that. Or secondly, because the world has made sex very perverse, you have an unrealistic expectation of what sex should look like, what sex should feel like, and your yardstick, or what you are using to measure what a good sex experience or a good sexual experience should look like, is what they have sold to you in the movies. You might have had your mind perverse about the subject of sex by reason of watching too much porn. All right, that can also be something that would have affected your expectation or your view of what sex should look like. And so, with that said, give me a second. You see that guy, that girl that you as a single or maybe even married person makes reference to, that baby is so good at what she does. That guy, he blows my mind every time. Blah, blah, blah. Where do you think these people got so good? How do you think these people got so good? They practiced and practiced for a long ass time with different people and got good at it. You don't become a badass sex machine on your first attempt at sex. It just doesn't happen. You get good with time and practice. That's how that guy gets so good to a point where he blows your mind, because he has the experience, right? But you see, the detriment to that is somebody that has or gathers so much experience and then now finds it difficult to settle down with one sexual partner, because you've grown your sexual appetite to a point where you need some certain crazy stuff to satisfy you, pretty much, because you've been there, done that. What a virgin or a newbie would call the basic stuff is no longer sufficient for your hungry and adventurous sexual appetite. So you need more, and that desire to have more comes from the experiences that you have had, the build-up, the sexual build-ups that you have built over time. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense, but please stay with me a little bit longer, right? I'm looking to convince you and not to confuse you that sex before marriage truly is not just a stern instruction from God, but that there is wisdom in it if you really sit down to consider it. I know that there are cases of maybe a person going through rape, you know what I mean? And that has now awoken a sexual desire before time, and what that might do is probably produce two extremes where the person is either very, very addicted to the act or completely adverse to it, right? That's a different concept that I'm not really exploring particularly. What I'm talking about is the fact that, again, sex is a skill and can be learned. You can get good at it with your spouse. That's what I'm trying to say. That's pretty much where I'm going with all this my plenty talk and saying all these things. I'm saying that you that is saying my husband is not satisfying me, he's not doing what I want him to do, he's not hitting the right spots. Sex is a skill, madam. Okay? You can teach him. Another thing that you need to look for, this whole thing of, how will I know he's good in bed? Look for whether male or female. Now this is not gender specific. Look for whether the person is teachable, whether the person is open to learning and relearning and unlearning, whatever the case may be. All right, such that as the two of you are exploring your bodies, you are able to say to this person, what you did there, I liked it. Can we do more of that? The way that place you touched, that place you licked, that place you sucked, I like all that kind of stuff. Can we continue with that? Can we try this today? We haven't explored this part of my body. I want to know how that feels like. I want to explore this part of your body. Let me know how it feels like. That's how you build. Because you see, the thing is, multiple sexual partners does not guarantee that you will satisfy the person you eventually marry. Because you will end up learning every other person's body and then come and now have to relearn or start to learn afresh your current spouse's body. What you did now, for instance, to just using a name, I don't know anybody, or I don't think I know anybody by that name. What you did to Ejiro that blew her mind may not be what will blow your wife's mind. So that's mastermind, or once I flick this thing, it drives everybody crazy. It may not drive your wife crazy. Once I touch this part, it gets the guys every time. It may not get your husband. So you can see that all that sexual experience that you have used to gather all that sexual prowess may not even be as effective as you think it will be in your marriage bed, because you will now start using other people's experiences as a reference point to how you can please your partner, when in actual sense you should be learning your partner and what particularly suits that person. That's why marriage is a lifetime thing. You get to sex up this person for the rest of your life and learn this person's body, explore this person's body, discover what they like, what they don't like, what you guys can do together, what you guys shouldn't do together, and just enjoy your marriage bed. Because like I keep saying, and I have said several times in this video, and I'm not going to stop saying it, sex is a skill. It's a skill that you can get good at. You can get really good at with practice. When you learn your spouse's body and take out time to practice with your spouse's body, you get good. You get that good. Allow yourself to be free from that sexual perversion and that satanic, demonic lie of the enemy that nobody can satisfy you. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. I'll talk about this another time because I've already got to my destination. But I hope that this makes sense to somebody, at least somebody in that marriage that is so discontent, or that single person that has concerns or whatnot. or that person that probably wants to lose their cookie because they need to experiment. That guy is pressuring you and telling you, how will I know that we are sexually compatible if we don't try, and all those things. This is me talking outside the fact that this is even a command from God. This is what God requires from us as his children. I'm talking to you on a different level now. That's something that as a child of God standard you should know and you should operate under, right? But what I'm speaking to you about now is this other aspect that people don't really talk about, okay? Because they just want to always bring up this concept of what if the person is not, what if the person is not, what if the person is not, right? When in actual fact, that's not really something you should be considering. That's not really something that you should be considering. I hope this makes sense. Till I come your way another time, guys.